I'm just a little bit late. My streaming software was having some problems, but I think it is now live. Sorry, I missed the exact Eastern 420. Let's go ahead and do this to get us started. A nice classic old-fashioned bong hit. And welcome, happy 420, everyone. We made it another year, quite a year since our last 420. Oh, yes. Okay. Whoops. Excuse me. Let's mute that. All right. We are good. Hello, everybody. Joe Dub, Atheist Moses. Cool name. And Bradley. Happy 420 to everybody. So glad to see you. Atheist Moses. Maybe seeing you for the first time. Bradley and Joe, thanks for joining us again. Atheist Moses. That is an evocative name. Okay. Joe says he is still at work, but as soon as he gets home, he's going to catch up big time. Well, I hope to hear that, Joe. What time do you get off, my friend? Hopefully, you're not there too much longer on this stoneristiest of days. But I'm glad you're here at work nonetheless. As you can see, we have a variety of things laid out in front of us here. We've got some the water pipe, which we are starting with. We've got our stores in Bickle. We have been doing a lot of Mighty Vaporizer, good old dab rig, our classic Volcano, nice little edible drink. Stephanie, happy 420 to you. Thanks for hanging out. We've got our edible drink. And then I've got 1,000 milligram tincture that I'm not going to do all of, but I'll do some of. So we've got a lot of fun stuff ahead of us. Henry says, stay in the fights today, Wheats. Happy 420. Well, thanks, man. And thanks for hanging out with us today, Henry. Oh, I know what piece of weed accoutrement I forgot to take with me, and that is my little buddy bowl thing I use to empty my bong with. But we'll come to that one next time. It's time to go around with the bong. Oh, well, Atheist Moses, his name is literally Moses IRL and is an atheist. So not only, well, one, I apologize for not guessing that was your actual name. And two, what a strange fate that you were dealt the most biblical of names. Perhaps, well, I'd say Abraham is the biblical name. If your parents name you Abraham, they're really into their Judeo-Christian values. Oh man, let's not start talking about fun stuff just yet. But boy, would I love to talk about Abrahamic religions. But we'll get there. All right, well, that is our water pipe done for now. We'll stick this over here to the side, clean it off, and do it in a moment. I know, let's go ahead. Eric Welk, Eric, Russell, I don't know if I said or not, he's enjoying some 100 milligrams of RSO, which sounds great. Man, thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us. And happy 420 right back to you, Eric. So let's start with some agua de flor here. Just a standard edible drink. 100 milligrams, I believe, in here. Shake well. Give it a nice sip. If I can get the childproof cap off. And some aluminum foil. Got a dab tool for that. My dogs might make more of an appearance than normal. I'm sort of pushed way back away from my desk, and they're here, stomping around. So we'll see if they pop up. Cheers, everybody! Happy 420 with our agua de flor. Oh shit! Just spilled it all over me. Um, Limonada pepino. I think it's cucumber and lemonade. We'll see. Oh, that's about a quarter of it down the hatch already. Pretty good. Very lemonade, cucumber flavored. Not a lot of weed taste, and not even a really astringent weed aftertaste that you normally get with these weed drinks. Um, not a lot at all. Actually, pretty pleasant tasting for a weed drink, all things considered, which usually are a little bit on the more bitter side, again, especially with that aftertaste. But this agua de flor lemonade cucumber water, not so bad. And we'll see how it does. This is not a review. This is just for fun. I had this. It's like a leftover promo, I think. Ooh. Okay. Well, we've done our pipe. We've done about almost half of that now. I'd say let's get our first volcano bag going. I've got my oven here, filling chamber here. This is the let's see. This is from this wheat is Gelatajo, like a hybrid of gelato and Tahoe. Tough to say. It is let's see. I think pretty decent. About 21% THC in this hybrid strain. All right, volcano bag, here we go. Let's see. I watched what are all of the best picture nominees for hello, buddy. Here's one of those dogs I promised right here. Might have to grab him some treats. Oh wait, did I turn this off? Which is not what I meant to do. Hey, easy, bud. Hi. Dog's right here. Let's see. 2020 best picture. I don't know why we're doing this right now, but it felt like a good thing to go with. I'm curious to see. Oh wait, I guess it's 2021 from the movies of 2020. I'm just curious to see how many I've seen. I have now seen one, two, just three of them. I saw Promising Young Woman over the weekend. Finished it. I rented it on VOD, and it is the second best of the three that I've seen. I've seen Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and Judas and the Black Messiah. Nomadland is astounding, deserves to win. Judas and the Black Messiah is very good, but not incredible. And Promising Young Woman, man, it is a movie that is very, very good. Could have been outstanding. I think a lot of what I think many people are going to determine their how they feel about the movie about the last 5 minutes of said movie. I wish that the movie had ended 5 minutes earlier. If it had just stopped 5 minutes earlier, I think it would have been an absolute stunner. And not only that, I think the movie would have been more thematically cohesive if it had gone with its sort of first ending as opposed to its second. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it is a great movie, a fun watch. If you haven't seen Promising Young Woman and you are looking to check out any of the best movies of last year, check it out. But Nomadland for me is still number one. I really want to see Minari next, which I know is on VOD. Still haven't seen it. Anyways, nice little digression. Says Atheist Moses says, if I tell if the. I'm sorry, I'm away from my monitor. Ah, Atheist Moses posits that if an edible tastes like weed, then it isn't a good edible. That is a good shorthand, Atheist Moses. That if an edible is totally divorced from weed taste, it usually, well, not, it is a not an unfair stereotype to suggest that it might not be that good. But there are absolutely exceptions to that. Some of the best edibles I know, actually, well, back from the glory days, had incredibly high THC counts and shockingly little THC taste. But I see your point nonetheless. Um, and we've got, who do we have? We got Kundalini joining us. What a name. He says, what are we smoking on, chat? Well, let him know, folks. Tilly says, welcome, Tilly. She says, just bought Shatter for the first time. A recommendation for dosage. Well, if it's your first ever hit of concentrate, very small, like pinhead kind of small. Even if you've done lots of weed before, doing concentrates for the first time, not even about the amount of THC that's in it, but rather just the experience of blasting a lot of very hot vapor into your lungs can be a lot, even if you've done pens before. So start small, see how that goes. Start smaller than you think, and then work your way up from there. But be careful, Tilly, because you're going to be messing with blowtorches and shit. Brother Dank says, what up, Wheats? Not too much. Thanks for joining us, Brother Dank. Joe Dub answering our good man Kundalini, I hope I'm saying that correct, says, about to get some blueberry cookies. And, Brother Dank says he recommends the film Lord Byron from 2011. It's a 420 classic, and he's in it. I don't think I know the movie. I mean, I know of the person Lord Byron, but I don't know if I know the movie. Let me do a quick Google. And I certainly don't think I know it as a stoner movie. My stoner movie that you may have never heard of that I will very heavily suggest is one from like 2004 or something. Not a very big movie at all, called Smiley Face. I think Smiley Face with Anna Faris. A great little under the radar stoner comedy. Lord Byron movie, 2011. Okay, what is Lord Byron? This actually, it has just 30 reviews on IMDb. Wow. No wonder I've never heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen a product have that few reviews before. That's pretty ridiculous, or pretty insane, actually. Wait, but it has 7 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes? That seems weird. Well, I'm not trying to get no ads. I'll have to take a look at it. It sounds cool, though, Brother Dank. And what role did you play in it? Were you just an extra, or do you have a speaking part? And Cannellini says he's got the early test of the new Jungle Boys live rosin jungle sticks. We've got a lot of fans of those. I haven't heard that name in a while, but I guess they are still an underground sensation. Leslie V says, happy 420. Do you use the Fronto leaf? Don't even know what that is, Leslie. But if you will fill me in, I will be happy to investigate. And Brother Dank is currently enjoying a strawberry shortcake Delta 8 cartridge. We finish this volcano bag while we've still got it nice and warm. There we go. Oh, actually, I know a movie to talk about that I would love to talk about for a little bit. Maybe actually my favorite movie of last year, although it is not nominated for Best Picture, although surely nominated for Best Foreign Language Movie. I do feel bad because it's just a bunch of white dudes doing a bunch of white dude stuff. A bunch of, it doesn't feel like the year to point out another movie about a bunch of privileged white dudes are. I mean, not to talk shit about any, but it feels more like a year where Nomadland should probably win something. But the movie is another round from Denmark, I believe, starring everybody's favorite Mads Mikkelsen. You do have to read it. It is subtitled. It's in Danish. You think I would remember better what country it was in? One of those Viking countries. How dismissive. Uh, Privileged white people, I guess. I think you can, I don't know. I don't know if you can disparage somebody from Denmark. Probably. Certainly. Anyways, what a wonderful, absolutely delightful movie. One of my favorite kind of movies that just takes a very difficult subject, or at least a subject that isn't usually given such leeway to be not so didactic or black and white, and that is drinking. Something I don't do. I'm not a teetotaler for any personal reasons. I think I'm one of those weirdos that's allergic to alcohol. I never really enjoyed it, even when it didn't make me sick, and that's made me sick for a while. But just wasn't ever really for me. But the movie is about four late-ish, middle-aged high school teachers in Denmark, all dudes, who decide in their middle-aged ennui, we'll say, that they decide that they're going to take a part of how they frame it as an experiment. It's part of the interesting thing about the movie, and the interesting thing about the psychology of the characters, that they think that's an academic experiment. But anyways, these four older white dudes decide. Here's the quotation that kicks it off. Some, I think, social psychologist in Scandinavia posited the theory that we are all born with a 0.05% blood alcohol percentage deficiency, and that everybody alive would benefit from being constantly a little drunk, like 0.05% alcohol in their blood, which is, I think, beneath the legal driving limit for most states. So it's not incredibly intoxicated, but it is drinking a lot, something, a couple of shots probably. So these four guys decide to do it. They decide to be basically mildly drunk 100% of the time and document what happens. And it is a fascinating, wonderful movie. It does not take a strong point of view about the effects that this has on them. You may guess what happens, but it doesn't really judge the people either for making the decision or for believing that it may have helped them. Anyways, I don't want to give away too much because it does expand out, but it is a wonderful movie. It's called Another Round, subtitled, so you have to read. Hi, buddy. I see you. Let me give them some treats. Where are we at on chat? I will come back to chat in just a second. I'm going to grab some treats for these dumbass dogs who keep bothering me. Oops. One second. Come here, girl. Well, I'll give the one on the couch. There's a big giant dog on the couch who's super lazy. And there's one right here. Take it. Go on. Take it. Go, go, go. Here, here, here. Take it, take it, take it. My 8.5-year-old Great Dane now spends, not exaggerating at all, I would say 22 hours a day on that couch you can see one armrest of. She spends 22 hours. Those 2 non-hours on the couch are like the hour walk I'll take all 3 of them on, and eating, and getting up off the couch when my wife gets home. Sometimes if she's feeling really frisky. They're lazy creatures, Great Danes. But in the best way. Okay, I am so sorry I'm behind on chat. I know what I'll do. I will grab one of our first little mighty capsules we've got all set up here in our little magazine. That's what they call it. Do this, get started, and caught up with chat. Okay. Tilly says, oh, no, I'm a little bit. Atheist Moses says, what is your favorite pen brand? I'm a Steezy lover with Raw Garden and number 2. Great Q. My favorite is one that is not as widespread as those 2, unfortunately. But it is, without a doubt, the greatest concentrate pen manufacturer that I know. It is not close, at least in my opinion, and that is Plug and Play. Plug Play, another little pod-based vape manufacturer. They have their own proprietary one, unfortunately, but there is nothing that I've tried that is quite as potent or as straight up actual dab like as that. I don't actually understand what magic and witchcraft they put inside their devices. Tilly says, how are the 4... Oh, and I missed Leslie. Leslie says, answering my question that's so far back, and I'm sorry, it says the Fronto leaf is tobacco added to the paper and bud. I don't really actually even smoke joints or blunts, hardly ever. Only if they're really pre-rolled do I. But I'm not opposed to it, just haven't. I've never actually smoked a cigarette in an actual... I mean, I'm hedging here. I've smoked a whole pack of clove cigarettes over the course of like 4 years, again with my wife a decade ago. And that's it. But I've never had an actual like tobacco cigarette before, of any kind. I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever even took a drag on one. Not judging. I just never been in this situation really. Angel is enjoying their half ounce of Marathon OG. Sounds good. Until he asks, how are the 420 sales in Cali? Here in Florida, one of their dispensaries is having a 30% off sale. Well, Tilly, it depends where you look. But here's the thing about 420 sales. This is a little pro tip from somebody who has spent a lot of capital on weed over the years and is pretty well versed in when to know when to buy stuff. 420 sales here are not necessarily as outstanding as you would think. This is an area that has, the area I live in, Long Beach, California. Many dispensaries are constantly running much better promos throughout the year at random times than they do during 420. And I'm assuming it's largely a market-based reason. Now, don't get me wrong. Dispensaries will do things to try to get customers in. And by in, I mean compete or away from another dispensary and towards theirs. But they focus more here on like external gimmicks, not like sales. Like giving you free, for example, there are like 4 dispensaries within a 10-minute walking distance from where I live. Not shitting you. That's not an exaggeration. Yes, actually 4 and soon to be, I think 5. So they're doing things like they have taco trucks out front and giving away swag and chances to win raffles for big, huge prizes and doing things like spin a wheel for this or that instead of like discounts on products. Reason being, they don't really need to do anything on 420 to sell weed because they're going to sell more weed on this day. They're going to basically most dispensaries are just going to have a nonstop barrage of customers who are going to spend money, and lots of them that never would have spent money before. And there's no real reason to give those customers lower prices in this one time when they're going to be spending gobs of money anyways. Like, just let them spend as much money as they want to spend, because this is a special day. It's a holiday. There's no real there's no the only competition. It's not like you're trying to drive in customers who wouldn't go to a dispensary normally, or that's exactly what you're doing, but they're going to go to a dispensary. A lot of people are going to go there one time this year on this day, and the only competition is between dispensaries, and not like so much trying to get a customer to spend money at that dispensary. If you're going to a dispensary on 420, you're going to spend money. It's an experience for you. So what people focus on here is less the sale, the making the sales of the products, and more like, hey, you have a chance to win a fancy bong, and we'll give you a burrito if you spend $50. That seems to be what happens here more. Could be wrong. Long answer. Brother Dank says, I appear in the New York Times review of in the photo I spoke. I was among the leads in The Men in the Woods. It's a Greek tragedy. We all smoked weed and made the film for free in Louisiana. That is in response to the movie he mentioned, Lord Byron, which has me even more excited. Brother Dank, I will, if you remind me, send me like an email or something, because I will absolutely forget by the time this is all said and done. But that actually sounds fascinating, and I would love to check it out. Grip244 says, hey, Wheats, welcome. Hey, right back yourself. Alcoholic says, why sent you hinting the bog? It's 420, blaze it more than yesterday and the day before. We will. I'm sorry, I'm falling behind. I will finish this drink, actually, while this is still nice and cool. Let's get this done. That'll be 100 milligrams down the hatch. I think I got correctly mocked for saying ennui. Bud Nation says Sound of Metal is really good. FYI, available on Prime. Kind of sad though, but very good movie. Yes, Bud Nation. I don't know why I didn't say it in that list of things I want to watch. It has been on my Prime thing for a while. I love Riz Ahmed. Who doesn't love Riz? The RZA, the Jizza, old dirty bastard. Wrong Riz. I don't know why I haven't watched it. I think, yeah, probably because it's just going to be rather bleak and sad. But that's all of the movies from this year. So, and very appropriate. Thank you for the recommendation, Bud Nation. I'm going to jump it up higher on the list. I know it kind of got pinged for a little bit, disability, not to get too much into anything. I don't know how I don't know. It shouldn't factor into whether or not I watch it and what I consider about it. I don't know, but I look forward to checking it out again. Big Riz fan. That the night of, was that what it was called? All right, that's our capsule done. Sorry. Okay. I'm not going to do the bong just yet. Alcoholic, I know I'm really behind on that chat, and it's probably even left us. I will do this dab rig because I have to clean my bong, and I don't have my thing right here in front of me, and I will grab it in just a moment. But this is here ready to go. So let's do this. Grab this. Try not to catch anything on fire. Here we go. Oh, take that out. Chat. Grip says, Doggo knows what's up. Have you ever used a CBD product, vet safe, on your animals? I have not, Grip 244. I've never given them any CBD. Please don't use this. You can judge me for this. I will understand totally if you do judge me and you decide like you should report me to animal cruelty. I totally get it. I 100% get it. All three of my dogs have been high in their lives. Two of them twice. One of them too high once. Never, no time intentionally, never ever intentionally. All just random slip ups. Um, like and it hasn't happened in a long time. It used to be when you would have big edibles with a lot of milligrams in them in a very small package. You have a cookie or something, and you take a bite, and it would crumble, and that little crumb would fall off and land right on the floor. And that crumb would have something like, probably, I don't know, 15 milligrams of THC based on that size of an edible, enough to get a 30-pound dog quite high. That's happened twice with one, once with another. The other dog got high that way once, and then one time got way too high. And the one I feel truly bad about, the other times they were clearly high in that they were just like loopy and spacey, but otherwise fine. Motor skills, fine. Cognitive skills, fine. Like just kind of like you would see him spacing off and zoning out and kind of getting startled more easily. That would be their only real difference. But my Great Dane, she once ate probably 125 milligrams of THC, just grabbed something off coffee table, and she was high for about 36 hours. And I had to carry her heavy ass up and down the stairs. She just couldn't, like, would see them and overwhelmed her. It was a lot. And I felt so terrible. Still do. She's That was 5 years ago. She seems okay. Uh, still couch locked in a lot of ways, though. Here we go. Alien OG, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us, Handicap GTI driver. Thanks for hanging out again, man. Happy 420. I do have an Instagram. I don't ever use it. Maybe I will again at some point, but thanks for asking. It should be the same name. You can follow me there. I don't really use it. I should, though. Ooh. Brother Dank, starting with the big ones. Asking who is the greatest band of all time. Think I have strong feeling. Well, the art, uh, most common art form that I probably have the least strong opinions about, but I like the question. It's an appropriate one for today. Um, and greatest band of all time. So, Brother Dank, are you referring explicitly to a band, or just any musician who may, like, because I'm not sure if my answer changes or not, to be honest. Uh, I think probably the greatest living, and this is like one of my few things that has changed in the last like 5 years of moved up the hierarchy of favorites. And I think probably Jason Isbell and the 400 unit is the best band um, ever, I think. There are alternatives. There's the National, there's the Mountain Goats. Um, so it's hard to say for absolute sure. I don't have a very good taste in music or very wide taste in music. Uh, so, you know, take that answer. I don't for example, I don't think I've ever listened to an entire Radiohead album start to finish. Like, yeah. Sorry, Tom. I know you're watching. Apollo says, question, I never used the distillate syringe. Is it good? Is it safe? Distillate syringe meaning like a syringe, like a dablicator, like the syringe style applicators for just concentrate? If so, yes. If it's like distillate concentrate, it's fine. It's like any other concentrate. The syringe is an underrated way of deploying concentrate. I wish they were used more often. They're actually pretty rare and seem to be getting even rarer. I don't see them as often as I once did, but uh, as long as it's just distillate, THC distillate in a syringe that you use to apply concentrate to a hot surface, very safe, very convenient. Atheist says, I've noticed 420 deals are never that good. See, I think why give away the something when the something. There's some idiom about why would you give away, why would you give discounts? You're just gonna take in less money if you do. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not endorsing that as a business model, but I that's my guess as to what's going on there. Grip 244 says, oh dang, how many milligrams of THC in total are you planning on consuming on today? A lot. We've done, well, this is not done. I promised to finish this. Let's do this right here. Whew. Excuse me. Almost done. That'll be 100 milligrams. We've done one dab, one bong, one volcano bag. Speaking of, let's get the second volcano bag going. I have 1,000 milligram tincture THC in front of me. I don't think it's going to be necessary, but it is there, depending on things. Hello, buddy. Good to see you again. What made you think things had changed out here? Border collies. They're supposed to be smart. Well, too smart for their own good. It's probably the better description. A border collie isn't smarter than other dog breeds. It's just that they use their their brains for tasks that are more easily recognized by humans, or not easily recognized by humans, more commonly attributed to humans as intelligent. Like they're good at recollection. They're good at like moderate problem solving about spatial puzzles. They're like those kind of things that we humans equate to intelligence for reasons that I don't quite understand, but we do. And so we port that same like framework onto dogs' intelligence. And border collies are excellent at that, but they're also like a lot of very intelligent human beings in that maybe that brilliant brain has led to deficiencies in things like social graces and um, uh, I don't know, proper etiquette. He's 7 and he's a good dog. He's a damn good dog. He's just he does okay. Here's the thing about my dog Squid. He's a 7-year-old border collie, and he's never learned to lie down. Not in the like the trick sense or like the obedience trick. He can do that totally fine. It's that he's never learned the concept of like, oh, my body is standing up straight and I would like to be not standing anymore. I'd like to be resting. So what I'll do, any normally brain, any person or dog with fully functioning cortexes and cerebellums and things you would go from standing to reclining as a process. There's steps that are involved. Like you first, it's like, oh, you contract the muscles in your legs, and you get down to sort of your knees, and then you use your hands to further the balance process. Or if like a dog, it's like you recline your 2 front feet first, then you recline back to your back, and then you're on all of your, your hindquarters, and then you from there you rock to the side, and it's a very gradual, easy process. That's not what he does, and he's never understood, or never doesn't even understand like that as a concept. He is standing, and then he just falls. He just falls. Where if he wants to lie down, he is standing up, and then his legs just give out. He's like, oh, time to lie down, time to just let all of the muscles in my body go. And as a puppy, he was bouncier. His bones were more flexible. His muscles were springier. It wouldn't, be such a big deal. But as he gets older and he's not quite as flexible and limber, it hurts him. Like you hear him, the poor damn stupid dog. Like you always hear him lie down because it's just a thud. And it will wake you up in the middle of the night when he's like going to go get a drink of water, and then it's time to come back to bed. He'll just fucking fall. Like wherever he's standing up, fall. He knows how to get down. As I said, like you can teach him the trick and he does it just fine. Or if he like gets up on the couch, he doesn't just thud from there. He gets down in a very graceful fashion. But if he wants to lie down on the ground, no matter where it's at, he just lets all of his muscles go, and that's it. And I'm sorry to have brought up that whole story, just to say, like, intelligence is weird. Border collies are not, they're smart, but they're also weird as hell, and cognition is strange. Thank you. Okay. I am so far behind. I'm not that far behind on chat, thank God. I just I a lot of these comments that I'm reading, I can't even remember what the subject was at that point, but that's okay. Welcome, boyo. Thanks for hanging out. Atheist Moses says there is no reason on giving you a discount if you're gonna spend the monies anyways. This is why I buy my 420 weed a week before. Smart man. Yes, avoid the crowds, and my guess in the end probably get the better price anyways, is my guess. Atheist Moses. All right, let's finish this bag here. Well, thanks, man. Is it? Oh, Brother Dake, I should definitely be on Twitter. You can find me at Wheats Reviews on Twitter. I know that to be true. It should just be simply. Oh, I think I do see where you have now. Oh, you did. You did. I read your comment wrong, Brother Dink. My bad. Thank you for the message. I look forward to checking that out. Appreciate that. Oh yes, back to somebody said good TED Talk. Got any dabs? Brian Lewis, welcome. I do have dabs. That'll be the next thing we do after this volcano bag. I might need 1 second to get through my refractory period, and then we will do a dab for you, Brian Lewis. TED Talks. Is it cool now to say that TED, like, what do we, I don't know how public opinion on TED Talks has gone. I know in certain circles, in like the say the science writing community, the TED Talks were, I think, rightfully bashed, maybe, for a while. Not bashed, but they were looked at. That is a wrong word. Not back. bashed, but they were looked at with some skepticism by people, especially um, uh, any topics that are presented about things that are in the neurological realm, or even the sort of the more social your science, the more askance people would look at TED Talks as being something. I don't know. I don't even know what point I'm trying to make. TED Talks. Uh, the the sort of definition of presentation over information, or I don't know. Floundering a little bit. TED Talks. Has any TED Talk ever, I guess, really amounted to any true change or reform, or even like widespread uh, disruption in ways of thought about a topic or a subject, or an um, I don't know. I just think of them as like TED Talks is. I found the argument compelling. I guess I should say. It wasn't my argument that TED Talks are just kind of uh, junk food science that is designed to sound profound, but then for you to discard pretty much immediately. And that all of the uh, I think they were presented as TED Talks are presented as like terrible sort of for science communication, in that they are all presented as these definitive things, um, and all of the rough parts of those subjects that TED Talks are talking about, all of the messy parts of science, don't ever get accurately reflected. And instead, you get these just incredibly polished 12-minute presentations that really do a poor job of reflecting the um, uh, still the uncertainty in the facts that they are very um, prettily arranging for you, and that it's all just flash and so little substance. But the insidious part is that they make you think that it is substance and not flash. Like that it the whole idea of TED Talks was that, oh, it's going to be these world leading researchers on these really fascinating topics, presenting their research in ways that are both able to be enjoyed by mass audiences, but not dumbed down for a uh, lowest common denominator. But really, that's what they have ultimately become. Anyways, TED Talks. Sorry, that was a little boring. Um, and if we're going to talk about TED Talks and why we should be skeptical of TED Talks, we should just really talk about the replicability crisis in, well, I was going to say psychology, but I think psychology gets unfairly picked on. I mean, it's really all social sciences. I don't I don't know. The older I get, the more wary I get about any conclusions drawn from anything in social sciences, um, top to bottom, and think that just we got to do something different. We've got to create a whole new incentive structure for research. I think the incentive structure we have made is perverting the entire process and leading to just so much horseshit, and that is not just gussied up I mean, it's actively damaging uh what our current academic system is doing to certain disciplines, like the publish or perish model and the blockbuster studies with like shocking results. The incentive to have those for your career, for your notoriety, or notoriety is the opposite of what I mean, but your fame, your glory for your either for yourself, for your field, or whatever. it's just too goddamn the incentive to, you don't even have to like the people who are doing these studies and the ones that are getting looked at most often are truly some of the most brilliant people based upon certain metrics that our society creates. So we shouldn't be surprised when they use their, or like when their brilliance lets them, delude themselves just as much as anyone else. Like, I don't think what I'm saying is like, I don't think a sociologist working at Brown or something, just as an example, actively thinks that they're, is actively like trying to deceive people with whatever research that they are doing, or is even, I don't think that they think that at all. I don't think that there's any like conscious thing, but they are good enough to sort of hack their way into whatever conclusion they want to draw, or by, erecting certain laboratory setups that they already know ahead of time or have a good suspicion ahead of time that will give them the outcome that they are looking for. And not because they've done anything intentionally, but just because they are smart enough to make those subtle changes to whatever experiment they're running. I just think, so, there's a very big thing that has been known in psychology for a long time, the replicability crisis, where you can take any paper published in the field of psychology from the past, say, decade. I don't know when these dates actually begin and end. And if you were to run the experiment yourself, or if another lab were to run the experiment themselves just to try to reproduce it, which nominally all experiments should be reproducible. That is the point of experiments, is that they should all be 100% reproducible. In psychology, if you did that, more than 50% of them could not be reproduced by another lab, which really puts their entire results and conclusions into jeopardy. But it's not just psychology. It's just in psychology, it's much easier to get concrete results that can be tested again and reproduced again, or failed to be reproduced again. In the other fields, economics, you can't. And you build whole disciplines on things that can't be either tested or reproduced, or worse, fucking, again, economics. You say that when your experiment or your model or whatever it is that you're trying to sell to people as something that, some underlying secret to the world that you've discovered, or some mechanism for the way that humanity works, that you've found that equation, this, that, or the other, when that doesn't bear out, you say that the fact that it didn't happen is actually reason that is more reason that you were right instead of the reason that you are wrong. You see that so much in certain disciplines, like in economics, where let's say there's a big bubble that bursts in a certain market, and some economic model that predicts bubbles didn't predict it. They will often use the fact that their model did not accurately predict that this market was a bubble to say that that actually means that their model was correct, because the thing that happened was a 1 in a gazillion chance that could never have happened. And it was such an act of God that it actually, instead of saying like, well, shit, you just got it all wrong, the whole thing, this whole model is tea leaf reading, you don't understand anything, this thing's, market forces are totally random, yada, 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 so on and so forth. How dare you determine that as evidence for your bullshit conclusions and not evidence against? But you see it all the time in social sciences. It's weird. I don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of things in social sciences that we accept as fact that are obviously not. But weed. Where are we at? Sorry, everybody. That was quite the rant. Eric says the book Everybody Lies presents a novel approach to social science research. They reviewed Google search data. I don't think I've ever read Everybody Lies, but I should check it out. Yes, there are a lot of great books on how to think more, uh, how to think, I guess, use statistics and things of have instead of using them to pervert your thinking, to enhance them. One of my favorites is Jordan Ellenberg's How to Be Not Wrong, or How Not to Be Wrong. I can't ever remember which is weird because it really changes the meaning of that title. Um, uh, he's a math professor at University of Wisconsin, I believe. Very laid person friendly book that teaches uh, some pretty using both great examples of people who failed to use these things or failed to think these ways, um, but using statistical modeling, statistical reasoning to uh, just sharpen your thinking. It's cool. Good stuff. Okay. Where are we at? Chat. I'm going to grab a beverage real quick. Finish this. That is done. Excuse me. I'm back. And chats. Gravel, welcome. Kenna Mike, welcome. Abigail Anderson, welcome, welcome. 420 is going great here. I promised somebody a dab next. A dab they shall receive. To whoever suggested it, this is for you. Sorry it took so long. My friend Brian Lewis, I think that was you. Brother Dank says William Bankston brought a healer he found through his social science work. The techniques are reproducible and 100% effective against cancer in mouse models. Now it just needs to be applied. I'm not sure I understood. He brought a healer. Like what? Like a shaman or that kind of healer? I'm confused about your wording, but that's on me, not on you. Reading comprehension is way down. Oh, freak snowstorm in southern Illinois. I think I had read that there was a bizarre late year snowstorm in the Midwest. Hope everything is okay there, man. Brother Dank says Sublime is the greatest band of all time. Is Sublime the one that's from Long Beach, right? That's the one. There's like a giant mural of the dude very close by to the dog beach, I think, in Long Beach. They see it like multiple times a week, I think. Uh, well, thank you for not judging me, Grip, but I wouldn't have judged you had you judged me. Again, never, ever, ever meant to do it. Um, uh, and only one time was it a time where it was a thing where I felt like, oh man, I feel bad for having let this happen on my watch. Uh-oh, a little too much carbon in there. Just cleaned it too. Okay, let's see. Brother Dank says he brought a hands-on healer into the lab. Well, I would like to see some more about what that is all about. I'd be very intrigued to know what they looked at, how they tested it, what conclusions they came to, and uh, who else has seen it. But it sounds fascinating. All right, here we go. Brother Dank says in the article he saw, he said their mice are splitting their tumors against the wall. What wall is that, Brother Dank? Like, yeah, I'm genuinely curious. I'm not sure what wall is being referred to, but I can think of cell walls, but that's cancer is just oh shit. Excuse me. Holy balls. Sorry about that. Where are we? Okay. Eric says, "Are you going to play Monster Hunter later?" My mom, lovely 82-year-old, says I can watch. Well, Eric, I mean, don't pull my leg, or don't pull my leg. No, what do people say? Pull my arm. Why don't you? Is that the phrase? Meaning like, hey, I don't give me the excuse to play Monster Hunter because I'll take that any day of the week. Um, So maybe if I can get my head on straight, I must admit I am already uh, crazy, very, very 420 high. So I did that whole 100 milligram drink. It's been a while since I've done whole 100 milligram edibles. I haven't done a Wheats review actually in a while. Everything that's been out you've seen is all from like the month of December. Just had it in a backlog. So I haven't actually done any full 100 milligram edibles in a little bit. So that in and of itself is it's been quite nice. And our two volcano bags, our mighty capsule, our two big dabs, our bong, it's all coming together quite nicely. So Monster Hunter was the question. Could I successfully navigate the technical ability or technical sort of dexterity required to switch over? Possibly. But that time or that ability is rapidly dwindling, I think. So we'll see. It could be fun to try even. Twist your arm, why don't you? Twist my arm, why don't you? That's the phrase. Thank you, Eric. And Grip says this man is thwacked. Uh, like that verb and accurate, I think. So, what were we talking about before all of this? Oh, mice splitting cells. The healers envision happy, healthy mice, and the mice split their tumors out. You'll see there's a photo. I feel like, Brother Dank, I don't know. Please let me know. I genuinely don't know. And this is going to be, I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to be mean. I am just that confused. So please do not take offense with how flip this question is. But I am taking it from a person who is confused and seeking nothing more than edification. I hope I used that word correctly. I'm going to look it up. I'm that nervous. And not from one who is an asshole. Are you fucking with me? Is the question. Um, what does it mean to. I don't. I believe that you sent the link. Okay. Let's see if I can. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, uh, thank you for sharing that. Brother Dank, what? Brother Dank, I'm so glad you're here talking to us, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. Uh, Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your life. What are you interested in? What do you do? What's your mo, my friend? Just genuinely curious. That is a fascinating study that you mentioned, um, and I appreciate you sending it. I can't say that I can't say that it is something I would advise or anybody to follow or endorse. I'll look at some details, but I don't. I'm not not personally convinced just yet. What's the old phrase? The greater the claims, the greater the evidence. Something yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Um, uh, it is interesting, but I'd like to know more about you, Brother Dank. You sound like a fascinating dude. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about who Brother Dank is? Grip, while you're thinking, says too broke and don't have all those fancy rigs, so I'm doing his live resin lava cake OCC cart. But you're making me laugh with how high you are. Happy 420. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you're enjoying it and not just like, oh my god, what the fuck is this guy doing? I appreciate your good cheer, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, even without all the too expensive, too opulent, ridiculously outfitted accoutrement. I will not say that word again this stream. I promise. No more accoutrement. Um, I don't know why I said it twice. Um, it's like when you play a Grand Theft Auto video game and you steal a car and then you start to just see that car populate way more often. It's like that, but for language, I think. Um, and I think that's what happened. Oh, the other word I was terrified I used wrong was edify. Anyways, let's forget all about that. Um, but I'm glad to see that I did use edification correctly. Uh, when I get very high, I start to doubt. I every word starts to go through the process of like, wait a second, do I know what that word actually means? Is that what that word is? Surely not. Surely I don't. I've been using this word wrong my entire life. And what are words? What are symbols? What is language? What is communication? Do things ever actually get transmitted from mind to mind, or is it all, uh, sort of? Are we all constantly misinterpreting what each other truly means? Who knows? It's fun to think about. Um, anyways, Brother Dank has had some good weed today, Grovel. Nero Hero says, do you do YouTube for a living? Nero Hero, great Q, my friend. I do not do YouTube for a living. I don't do YouTube for nothing. No, it's a totally 100% hobby, I guess is the word. But no, not a living. Not nobody, believe it or not, nobody wants to pay money to see this. Shocking. It's very shocking to me. Uh, uh, no, I do not get paid to do this, but thank you for asking. Next question that naturally follows. If you were going to ask, glad to go ahead and answer. If you weren't, sorry to be presumptuous. And that is, well, what do you do? And the answer is, well, kind of a variety of things. See, well, it has been too long since somebody paid me to be a science writer that I can say I am a science writer still, I think. So I am no longer a science writer. It's been like at least it's been 3 years since the last time I've done that professionally. So I'm not a science writer, but I am a small business owner. Is that right? No, that seems like a weird way to describe it. Uh, was for a while a mental health professional, but then coronavirus. So I hope that answered your question. There's no way it did to your satisfaction. So let's hope you didn't ask it, and I was just being a uh, eloquacious dick. No, that's not the word. See, damn, always forget those words. All right, Brother Dank says, I'm a Christian minister. I let people know this shit is real and that weed is in the Bible. I'm ready to apply this to the world. Well, very cool, Brother Dank. That sounds very dope. What a cool little, or not, sorry, that was a diminutive. I did not mean to imply. It sounds like a very cool purpose in life. How long have you been a Christian minister preaching the proselytizing the I was going to try to come up with another P word that was like good for pot because I wanted to go alliteration with proselytize the power of pot. There we go. That'll work. I would have preferred something different, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And do you do your work online, or do you have a like a congregation somewhere? If you don't mind me asking, and again, feel free. You don't ever have to answer. You don't have to tell me anything. I'm just genuinely curious. You seem like a fascinating cat. So yeah, I'm curious where you do your work. Skate sesh. I think that's right. Whoops, not skatish. It says skate sesh. Are you from Long Beach? I just seen one of your vids on the cannabis syrup. I got a free bottle from the Chronic BC of their 420 treasure hunt. I am from LBC. Well, let's get into prepositions. From is another thing that's weird. I live in Long Beach and have called it home for 5 wonderful years now, but I am not from Long Beach. I wish I was. I feel like I am, but I am from. God, what does from mean? What the fuck does from mean? I am from East Tennessee. That's where I was raised the majority of my life. But I live in Long Beach and have done every Wheats review has been in LBC, except 2, I think. No, like 3 or 4. 2 have been in Colorado, 1 in Idaho, couple Northern California, and a couple in Joshua Tree. But outside of that, almost all in Long Beach area where I live. LBC forever. Love this city. Love it. It is incredible. So happy to be here. Okay. Even in the middle of a pandemic, when living inside of a city does have its distinct disadvantages, I'm still glad I'm here. Okay. Especially when you have 3 dogs. But the dog beach has been open most of that time. So it's been fun. Grip says, clipped it and ship it. Not sure what that means. Clipped means made a small video of it. I don't know. Maybe it's lingo I'm not hip to. Please fill me in. Love to know. Maybe he elaborates below. Says, I tried some of that cannabis 1,000 milligram syrup the other day, and man, I didn't even get high. I was too busy on the toilet throwing up. Sorry for the mental image. Mental image, okay. I've seen plenty of people throwing up. I'm sorry it happened to you. That is the only thing that condolences are needed for here. For your uh, gastronomical distress. I'm sorry. I have warned, I think, in cannabis reviews before, if you are a dumbass and do it the way I do on that review, which is not the way it is intended to be consumed, it is intended to be mixed with things. But if you do it just like, well, I have it, I assume some people are going to do it this way. I don't want it. I would rather shut up, Siri. I'd rather just get it over with. It all that syrup has made my stomach feel like poo before, so I empathize and I apologize, and I'm doubly sorry that 1,000 milligrams of THC was wasted. Grip, bummer, man. Uh, hopefully, hopefully you have some more luck in the future, or maybe just stay away from syrup because you don't need that much sugar or fake sugar. I don't think it's actually it's whatever garbage chemicals are in there, all and one big blast. Okay. Grip says he got it from a legit dispensary called Captain Jack's, but he was suspicious of some of their employees' motives and dispositions. Brother Dank, filling us in on his background, which thank you for sharing, says, I went to jail in 2009 and gave his life to God to solve the weed problem in Louisiana. Started a secular operation, legalized Louisiana in 2010, and a Christian ministry alongside it. We've achieved medical. Well, congrats on the mission, Brother Dank. Sounds admirable. Normally, I find Christian ministries to have more myopic goals or less publicly, or less goals that are for the public good and more so than the good of the individual ministry or church. So I applaud you for that. It sounds cool. I'm glad you are out of jail and working to make the world a better place, man. Hopefully your state, if you are still in Louisiana, gets on the ball and gets that fully legalized, good old-fashioned weed. Not sure how the swamps in Louisiana would handle weed, but maybe it would make for some cool strains and variations. Who knows? But the bayou needs weed, certainly more than meth, which is what it's mostly got now. Goddamn. Having been in mental health for a while, I did get to see firsthand. We don't. I think it's starting to get talked about in the mainstream media world again. I hate to use that term, mainstream media. What a sort of both bloated and meaningless phrase. I didn't. There's no connotation meant to that. Just meaning you're starting to see more and more stories about these things on your big network news channels, and that is stories about meth addiction, which I think in 2019, actually, maybe even earlier, maybe it was like 2018, eclipsed heroin for the most overdose deaths in the United States, which is a thing that I found shocking when somebody told it to me. It's just like we have the bandwidth for one crisis at one time. Meth is back and worse than ever. It's worse than it was when it was a major problem in like the aughts. It's worse now. It's easier to find than heroin in a lot of places. It's super cheap, just as destructive, just as addictive, and it is back with a total vengeance and worryingly probably getting quite a bit worse under a lot of people's uh, without people really noticing due to the pandemic. My fear and suspicion is that it has grown like wildfire over 2020, and they're going to be just continued skyrocketing numbers of meth deaths. I hope that's not the case, but yes, it seems like as a society, it's like, oh, well, heroin. Okay, that's the one. We finally, like 5 years ago, started to realize, oh, fuck, that's a big deal. And, we move slowly and we can only think about one at a time. And it's like, who knows how long it'll be before, uh, you know, all of the sort of funding there right now that is going towards uh, um, mental health services or treatments for addiction for people who have heroin addiction or opiate addiction problems or mental health diagnoses either related to the addiction or from the addiction. But, uh, you know, meth is already a bigger problem than it, but the amount of attention and money is minuscule, I think, in comparison. Don't know why we needed that downer of a topic, but um, just in case you wanted to know about much more harmful drugs than this, they bad out there. They real bad, and it real sad. So let's do our final volcano bag as a palate cleanser. What are we talking about here? We got ourselves DA4 Element says, you are a legend, mate. Love you from Ireland. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you tuning in from the Emerald Tiger. That's what people called you guys in like the 90s and aughts. And you had that economy just go, go, go. Hopefully, my friend, your border to the north chills the F out. Things get cool. Well, I don't, I do not want to stick my shit in something I don't understand very well. I would say I maybe have ever so slight more knowledge than most Americans, than the average American, rather, about that conflict, but that is saying literally nothing. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you are doing well. It is really remarkable to me how many people watch from Ireland, and I know you guys, I'm sorry to make just from that, the whole British Isles, which Ireland is the island of Ireland is one of the British Isles, right? I mean, I know it's not in the United Kingdom, but, and I'm not trying to do this pat myself on the back here. Well, maybe I am, I don't know, but I'm just, I love talking to people from other places. So many people watch from Ireland, and also so many people watch from Scotland, and it's genuinely, I have no idea why. It's flattering. I love it. I love that people are coming in from the British Isles. Please, I hope that is correct, and I appreciate it. Happy 420 to you. 6 hours in the future, I think. Oh, anyways, Flat Earth Dude, welcome. So glad you can join us as Puff Puff Pass. Well, this one's for you. Brother Dink says he is currently suing the feds and states now for religious rights. Well, Brother Dink, you happen to find yourself in a time like no other in United States history, and you will have a receptive judiciary for any and all arguments that you may want to present, spurious or otherwise, that will be taken with the utmost sincerity. So I can't say our motives will always align to you, but I can tell you it'll be an interesting thing to witness. And again, thanks for the comment, man. That sounds totally fascinating. Do you mind also if I mind asking what lawsuits you have been involved in? Grimble Grumble, welcome Grimble Grumble says Showgirl having some great deals today. Ooh, that sounds good. Right up there at Anaheim and Redondo. I have like 6 dispensaries closer to me than that. I went to Showgirl was like the second one to open in Long Beach many 3 year ago or so now. I think that is correct. Jay Vogel says Jay Vogel 2112 says, glad to see another intelligent cannabis enthusiast here. Greetings from Ohio. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the flattery, but as I warn people, I do give myself some minor credit for letting people know this. I don't deserve a lot, but it is one of the few things that I think maybe I deserve some credit for. In that, Jay Vogel, I am Dunning-Kruger personified. I'm sorry to beat this dead horse. I don't know what I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. But because I have just a surface level knowledge, understanding of a couple of, a large number of superficial topics, and I have just a vague grasp at those many superficial topics, I sort of present myself as if I know things when in fact I don't. And if you ever ask any, if you ever hear something that sounds like, wait, that can't be right, do me a favor, call me out on it, and ask for any kind of clarification or additional information, and just watch a man crumble. Like you'll just see the intellectual house of cards that I am, and I was gonna say, like, I'm a fraud to the core, but I think I present myself hopefully as a fraud, not just on the inside, but also on the outside. This is, as I said, Dunning-Kruger personified. I don't understand anything. It really, truly, I feel like I don't actually understand things. Anyways, thank you though for the ego boost. Sarcastically, but genuinely, I appreciate the nice comment. That is very kind of you. Happy 420, and thanks for tuning in from Ohio. Which one of the C cities are you from? Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, or Columbia? Is that the last one? Or am I forgetting another one? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I am. There's got to be another C city. Columbus, not Columbia, Columbus. Which one of the C cities are you from? Shlomo Muleman. What a name, Shlomo. I just feel like I could spend the next 30 minutes butchering your name and have a blast doing it. I feel bad for doing it, but Shlomo Muleman, oh my God, I am so sorry if I am offending you. I don't mean to. I think your name is just delightful, and there are so many ways it could be pronounced, and I am just like a toddler having fun making my tongue do different noises because they sound funny. But genuinely delightful name to guess how it might be pronounced. The only thing I can know for certain is that I have not gotten it correct. Skate Sesh says, what's your favorite smoke spot here in Long Beach? I like Bluff Park and the Lighthouse. Two classics is Skate Sesh. Rosie's Dog Beach. Well, that's actually not really true. You're not really supposed to have any kind of smoke things out there. I actually, Skate Sesh, live very close to Bluff Park. Less so than the Lighthouse, but very much within walking distance to the park and mostly within walking distance to Rosie's, but I usually drive these old 3 dogs of mine there. I don't. I will often take a vape pen out with me when I'm just walking around the city, enjoying the neighborhoods, because there's some beautiful ass neighborhoods this side of town. That was revolting to hear, but I hope it provides you some small satisfaction to know it was even more disgusting to taste than it was to put upon you. I hope. It was tasted nasty. Jay Vogel says psychedelic therapy seems to be on the rise. I'm on board for that. Jay Vogel putting in the little top, dangling out a conversational worm, and I will bite that hook. I will take that bait. Not that I'm saying you're trolling or baiting me. I'm saying you're just providing a nice segue from bullshit to a wonderful conversation topic, and I am chugga 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 choo choo, all steam ahead. Keep that psychedelic train going. I was on board, from the first time I heard that amazing Radio Lab story back in like 2010 about Cary Grant using acid back in like the 60s and 70s, I think, for or during psychotherapy, and what a profoundly positive effect it had on his life and mental health. And then, using that story to talk about how that there was in the 50s, 60s, there was this robust amount of research and very positive amounts of research about how psychedelics, whether it be acid, which was the one most often used, but occasionally still like psilocybin from mushrooms, were used to help all kinds of mental health causes, from depression and anxiety to most fascinating, and I think even I think the things that are much more optimistic, or the things that I think are most encouraging, are the ones that I think would actually provide the most benefit, is if it, and the research does hold up, in larger scale studies, is that helping people quit addictive or destructive habits, whether it be cigarettes or alcohol or some behavior, but using those in conjunction, which is very important to all this. So let me take a moment and bring up an old cherry on top. Michael Pollan's 2019, 2018, I'm not sure what year. Amazing. I mean, truly fucking amazing book, How to Change Your Mind, which is him talking about, going through the science and history of using psychedelics as therapy-assisted tools, and then himself trying it. That is, I think, the single greatest source out there for anybody looking to understand this more. Check that out. How to Change Your Mind, Michael Pollan. Could not recommend it higher. Seriously, love it. Goes over it. But yes, I think all that's fascinating. And then a thing that Michael Pollan brought up that I've only heard this argument from him, I'm pretty sure, and I think is even more than all of the ability to maybe help people with depression or anxiety, or the helping them quit a destructive habit or tendency. I think the thing that he points out that I never really heard anybody elaborate so well, and the thing that made me really, truly just fascinated on a different level, is the point he makes a couple of times, is how good these substances are at helping people come to terms with death, which is a morbid, weird topic, but obviously, I mean, it is just as much of a trip that, death comes for us as that we avoid talking about it at every juncture, or thinking about it, or doing any kind of activity that reminds us of it. But he turns to these studies that talk about like cancer patients with terminal illnesses that are facing certain death, very in less than a year's time or whatever, and using these substances to help them cope with that fact. These were people that were paralyzed by the fact that they were going to die, more so than normal people. The average, not normal people, I'm sorry, the average person in that scenario. These were people paralyzed by the fact that death was imminent and coming for them, and how that these psychedelic substances helped them have these breakthroughs and not just like help them get on with their lives, but feel like not in no way was it anticipation of death, but no longer a fear of it, no longer a worry, like you would choose to live, but knowing that death is coming for you is no longer a thing that like it is approaching, but it is not a thing that is weighing on you at, at at all times, at all moments. You're able to think of death as like this abstract process that happens to us all. And he also makes the point that there have been people who have done it that aren't facing terminal illness, that are just afraid of death in other ways, and it helps them with that. And he himself, who has an average fear of death and in no way has a terminal illness, says he is himself less afraid of dying after having gone through assisted is it physician assisted or psychologist assisted a therapy where you have a guide going on a trip with acid. I know that sounds weird and minor, but we're all gonna die, and dying is fucking terrifying. Nobody wants to fucking die. Instead of being just sticking our fingers in our ears and stamping on the ground and saying, well, it's just not gonna happen to me, let's like really, make it not the worst thing. If you can make the experience something that is not only dread and anguish and terror, but something that can be thought of as like a thing that happens to you. I don't know. I think there would just be a lot of good from that, and a lot of and something that every single person alive could benefit from if all of those studies sort of bear fruit and that reaction is common to many people. There's no reason we should not be trying that, and that everybody shouldn't aspire to have that experience. Long question. Excellent question from my man Jay Vogel. So cool. Grip, well, thanks for clarifying about clipped it and shipped it. Jay Vogel says, big jargon makes you seem big brain. Works anyway. I try not to jargon. And I don't jargon because I want to sound smart. It's because I don't know. As you can often tell, I'm not a very eloquent person. I'm like right on the line of a stutter, more or less. So I just, whatever word is the first one there is the one that is deployed. Not the best, the first. Never the best. Jay Vogel says, Cincinnati, I would say nailed it, but what percentage of your population lives in a city with a C city, a city with the name, the first letter that is, goddamn you, Siri, C. What kind of a guess is that? No, Siri. It's Solomon is how you say your first name? Okay, Siri, thank you. Oh shit, why did I do that? Okay, she didn't come forward. I need to finish this. Boyo says, you should try Smokey's Delta 8 gummies. Gonna give those a try before work. Well, if I see him, I will. I hope I remember. Probably won't. Send me a message on Twitter. I appreciate the recommendation. Shlo Mo, it's Hebrew. Oh. Well, I'm nothing but a putz and a schmuck, my friend. Nothing but a real, uh, what's the bad? I'm the opposite of a Mitch. That's me. Um, and I'm more of a Yiddish guy. Always have been. Uh, but I'm glad you're here. Uh, Lahaim, Mazel Tov. Uh, and I think that's it I've got. But Michael Chabon is my favorite author. I think, yes. Um, and the Yiddish Policeman's Union, great book. Not as good as The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Not sure why I'm telling you this. Feels uh, wrong and bad on my part, and I apologize if you interpreted any um, badness there when I genuinely mean the exact opposite. Thanks for hanging out. Ray says weeds back again from the Bay Area, my man. Big happy 420 right back to you, Ray. Thanks for hanging out. So glad you're here. Ryan, welcome. Happy 420. Jay Vogel says ego dissolution can happen more or less. Make death's scariness dissipate. Yeah, you got to get to that big ego dissolution. That's key. You got to kill the self to experience selflessness. That was designed, that only doesn't make any sense. It just was like, oh, my brain made a shortcut between those words, self and selflessness. It's like, that probably sounds cool. But you know what I mean? Yes, you do have to, yeah. I think the point I think everything I've read is that ego death is a pretty important component of being able to have these kind of breakthroughs that lead to permanent change in people's mental health or well-being, or choose your other thing. I have done acid 4 times, I think. 4, I think is right. And have never experienced anything, maybe up to half a dozen, let's say between 4 and 6 times doing acid, and have never experienced anything close to ego death. I found hallucinogenics. I've done mushrooms once and they did very little to me. The people I have done these psychedelics with, I've always done them with at least 2 other people, always between 2 or 3 other people, had much more intense experiences than me. I might just be one of those weirdos that they don't really have as much of an effect on. I experienced slight visual distortions, nothing approaching what you would call hallucinations, just kind of fuzziness at the edges on LSD. And the only, I loved it each time I did it, but it was mostly just expansive thinking, doing more like making arbitrary connections in your brain. Your neurons are firing like crazy and your axons and dendrites are saying like, oh, these things that aren't really connected probably are in some way. And it is a fascinating feeling making these what feel like profound connections, and are probably some kind of connection you could make post fact, but in the time feel very profound. But I never felt like I couldn't not. I've never have done a drug outside of ketamine, which I once have done in a clinical setting, where I was like immobilized. I didn't experience ego death or anything, but I was, yeah, not like I couldn't carry on a conversation with somebody. But that was a very different experience than it was like in a clinical setting. Anyways, neither here nor there. The times I have done psychedelics, and they're the only other drugs I've done. I've never done anything other than acid and mushrooms once. There was never a time where I felt like I couldn't carry on a conversation with somebody and them not know that I was, or them have any idea that I was on acid. Like, I don't feel like I could have passed to anybody. I'm pretty sure. Maybe that is a very bold claim to make and not true at all, but the people I was with also seemed to think that it just wasn't as much of a influence on my psyche. So, love to try again in the future, though. Anyways, um, this is almost too much for my fried mind, Kundalini. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but I'm sorry. We could go down some more fascinating topics. Yeti King, welcome. Jay Vogel says, I haven't done shrooms slash LSD yet, but I keen on trying it. Maybe growing my own shrooms, LOL. And Jay Vogel says, the kind of mushroom is extremely important. Well, it could be a literal matter of life and death with those damn morels. I mean, I've never done it, but I know people who have done it, and they've had perfect luck with it. The weird thing about, I mean, drug laws are just so fucking stupid and crazy and dumb and pointless and arbitrary. And as a consequence of that, it is not illegal to own the spores of the said mushrooms that are scheduled as a, I think, class 2 narcotic. It is just illegal to have the caps and the stems, but you can have the spores, which means that you can buy them in gray markets online. I mean, it's perfectly legal. Well, it's legal. Nobody's gonna, bust you over it, but it's like, it's legal because nobody has looked hard enough at it. But online, you can purchase kits with spores for the whatever the du jour strain is that produces the most psilocybin. That you can find those to purchase with, almost zero risk, nothing at zero risk to yourself online, not on the dark web, like, just freely available on the internet to a Google search. So I have not done it myself. I am not endorsing it. I am definitely not endorsing it. YouTube, I can't say I've never endorsed a product. That's not true. I've never endorsed a product that is illegal and told somebody to buy something. I don't know why YouTube thinks that I have, but I'm not doing that, YouTube, to be clear. I'm just informing. And this is not a joke. I've never done it. So I know people who have and had success with it. I did not try the stuff they had, but your mileage may vary. Long answer. T-Rex says, what music you dig? Dinosaur Jr., T-Rex Arms, that's the band T-Rex. I think that's a band name. I was trying to go through all the dinosaur band names I knew, and then I immediately face planted because I apparently don't or can't recall any more than that, which is there's a real deficiency in dinosaur band names, like the pterodactyls or the well, that's all I got. Maybe there's not. Maybe that's all you got. The brachiosauruses, but the sore is like muscle sore. That would be a killer band name. You'd sell a lot of shirts. And most people wouldn't even realize it was misspelled. I don't even know if maybe that's the way it's actually supposed to be spelled. Brachiosaurus, band name, patented or trademarked here, done. Yeti King with a mushroom recommendation. Thank you, Yeti King. EK says, yo, right back at you. EK, thanks for hanging out with us. How are you doing on this 420? I guess I owe. Let me finish this bet. Then we'll do a cap. I know what I'll do. Excuse me 1 second. Let's do another bong, like I promised somebody a while ago. People love the bong. All about that bong life. It's very visual. Oh, Yeti King. It must be. I know I've never even looked at these settings, so if I can remember, which very little chance that I will try to remember to do something about it. This is a promise and a guarantee right now, Yeti, is that if I can remember, which I almost certainly will not, I will change that later. And I promise you, if I can remember, I will do it, but I will not remember. As God as my witness, I guess we'll go God. Any other good witnesses out there we want to swear our put our honor to? I guess that would be the Abrahamic God. So good for all our Christians, Jewish, and Muslim fans. But if you're outside of that umbrella, I guess you'll just have to trust me. And also, even if you are in that umbrella, you will just have to trust me still because it was kind of like a swear, but I'm not sure that that swear means a lot coming from me personally. Anyways, weed. This is the last of the super nice weed I have from Almora Farms. It was mint, Kush mints at like 37% THC. I move it closer to the camera, but it wouldn't really matter anyways because I'd have to move it way closer, and I can't get that close. So again, you just have to trust me. I thought I'd save this for flower time, so I'm going to put this in our little grinder here, and we'll do our bong for folks. So let's see. We've talked about movies, the best picture nominees, and which ones we've seen. Well, we vaguely talked about it, I guess. I really, oh man, I actually had like a list of topic conversations written down, and as I'm like looking at them now, I'm like, oh man, I don't think I could make cogent points about those things at this moment. Like, how am I supposed to talk intelligently about Douglas Hofstadter right now? I don't know, man. I don't think I could talk about intelligently about Douglas Hofstadter when 2 hours ago, let alone right now. But I am reading I Am a Strange Loop, and it is delightful. Holy shit, is it delightful? He's the guy who wrote Gödel Escher Bach, the big old blockbuster book about consciousness and perception and reason and systematic thought and all kinds of fun stuff from I think the like late 70s, and it's his relatively new book, and it's quite great. But I don't know how much we can talk about that at this moment. But just know that there are funny words in it, like symbols. What was I doing? Oh, yes, this bong. I Am a Strange Loop. Let's see. What have I read, finished up recently? I just finished last week. I Contain Multitudes. Not great. It was okay. A book about microbes and specifically the symbiosis between microbes and uh, or animals, basically vertebrates or even invertebrates or even uh, yeah, just the total book largely about the both ancient relationship and mutual coevolution of microbes and bigger scale organisms and how we have always evolved together, how they in many ways it's a who wags the dog question when it comes to microbes, or at least so goes the hypothesis in the book of you know when you're hungry for Taco Bell, who who is hungry and who is or who is making you hungry? Is it really your brain, or is it maybe some microbes that have learned to send signals between your cells that particularly enjoy the amino acids in a Taco Bell's bean burrito and are looking to replicate and need the fuel, so they send these signals to your brain that it needs Taco Bell. I mean, not directly that, but sends signals that like hijack. It doesn't matter. Interesting. Not the best written thing, but full of cool little stories. That's a book. That was a boring one to go over. How Emotions Are Made, one that I did not particularly enjoy that much. It was a big book from 2019, I think. But I mean, if you have read anything in the past, I don't know, decade about uh, understandings of brain research, it's not going to be that novel to you. The idea that concepts in the brain aren't put in individual areas, but are largely abstractions constructed through whole brain processes. Like, I don't know if I needed 500 pages to reiterate that point over and over again. Um, kind of knew that one ahead of time. Just saved you from reading that one. Sorry, whoever wrote it. I can't remember your name, Professor whatever from Harvard, I guess. If you haven't, I don't know, looked at any kind of book about cognition recently, maybe it's still interesting, but it's pretty redundant if you have. Sorry, How Emotions Are Made. Puff Puff Pass the Earth is Flat, says Flat Earth Dude. I I totally agree with you, man. You know what though? You know what sucks though, Flat Earth Dude? It really bubs me out about it, about all this, is that nobody gives a shit about us anymore. Like, uh, it feels like the world's moved on. I remember the days, Flat Earth Dude, when I could go around and when somebody could say like, uh, boy, uh, you know, it it sure is much later in some place the antipodal of me right now. It would be much later, and then I would be like, I don't. That is a word I'm sure I have not used. Whatever, just like the opposite spot on a globe from you. And I love the conversation, right? That you just say that to somebody. But I couldn't think of an elegant way of saying like, shit, man, it's gonna be so late on the other side of Earth. So I just said something the most on the nose way of saying it because that's uh, that's where I'm at right now, and then I'd say, like, you jackass, there can't be a spot on the opposite side of the planet from you because the Earth is flat. The opposite side, you'd fall off the opposite side of you. I miss those days when I could tell that to somebody and they'd say, like, what the fuck? Get away from me, you weirdo. And I would say, no. But have you watched this YouTube video? Have you watched this YouTube video? Like, those were the days. I loved it. It's the Wild West, flat Earth for life. But now I go up to somebody and I hear them say something like, "Yo, dog, hey man, I bet it's, I need to catch a flight to Jeffrey Epstein's private island, and but I can't fly straight there because there's curvature, so I have to take that into account, or the pilot does, dog." You know how people say things like that. I'm not making anything up here. People have conversations like that all the time. Now when I say that, and I say, like, you jackass, you can just fly a straight fucking line to Jeffrey Epstein's sex island, you stupid assholes, because the Earth is flat. If you flew at an angle, you'd end up not where you wanted. You jackass, don't you know geometry? And instead of being like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? They say, oh shit, you're right. And also, Bill Clinton drinks baby's blood. And I'll say, dog, you're fucking crazy. I don't know what you've been smoking. And then they'll say, dog, you're not crazy enough. And I'll say, crazy like a fox. And then we'll high five. And then we'll say, take me to your QAnon boards. And they'd say, where we go one, we go all. And then I'd finally have a family that loves me. Just as an idea, as an abstract, I don't know, as a thought. That's point being, flat Earth dude. Excellent question, excellent point. I miss the days where I could just talk about flat Earth and I was the coolest. I was the coolest weirdo on the block. Now I'm fucking shit. Now I look like it's like, who am I? Like, I might as well think that it messes with my identity that there are people that have even beliefs that are more hard to believe that somebody can actually truly 100% believe it than mine. That messes with my identity. So be prepared because I'm going to be coming back with a new grand unified conspiracy theory that's going to out weird them all. You thought lizard people were weird? Well, get ready until you meet snail men that are like the consistency of boogers, and they're actually the ones in charge. I'm workshopping. I don't know yet. I mean, I'll have to do my research, obviously. I'm not just implying that I'm going to make this up, but I assume maybe that there will be a snail man situation at the heart of most of the global cabal. And I assume that is just shocking enough over those QAnon weirdos that everybody will then come back to finding my thing weird, super weird and off-putting. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Again, I'm not saying I'm not going to make any of this up. I'm going to do some research, but I have a feeling that's the direction it may go. Great question, Flat Earth dude. Yeti King says, you can't spray chemtrails constantly on a round globe planet. Yeti King, you get it, man. You get it. Thank you. Yeah, if the Earth wasn't flat, the chemtrails would, the arc of them, it would be different. That's a boom headshot. That's a checkmate science. That's NASA is a lie. Nailed it right there. The chemtrails with the curves. So I think we got it. I think we solved it. I think we've wrapped all the conspiracy theories up in a nice little bow, and we are now we're maybe at the birth of something big here. I think, guys, maybe. Oh, so the verdict came in. Eric Nephron informs. Wow. Let's not. That would be not to use any accidental. I was about to say that would be a loaded topic, and I did not mean in any way, shape, or form to make. I almost said no pun intended, and I understand that that itself would have been a very crass thing to say. So I take it all back. I apologize. I did not mean any of that. I do mean that it's like, wow, a topic that I am not equipped to handle in any way, shape, or form right now. I, it is, well, I, I don't know. Uh, I hope everyone in that, I hope everyone's okay. That's the point. That's my input is that I hope justice, whatever the hell, whatever the fuck that is, whatever, really, whatever we call that, whatever that is, not sure what that is or supposed to mean, really, not being facetious. Whatever that is, I hope it was done, and that I hope everybody. What a plat! I don't. I just don't even need to make comment. Obviously, the last thing anybody needs to hear is from this jackass. Anyways, oh boy. Uh, yes. Ryan says, "Don't touch that topic." That is my intention. Yeah. Uh, not even a fun thing to ponder. Um, ugh. Well, let's yeah, tinder boxes galore. Back to flat earth. Yes, the relative um benign and harmlessness of flat earth. I mean, only it's not like anybody's ever died in the service of flat earth. It's not like somebody ever like took off in a rocket and shot it up to try to prove something. I can't even remember what point, but I'm sure it was a valid one nonetheless about uh, why a rocket shooting up that you had no business constructing and this nor the engineering prowess to make what it would have done to confirm. But I'm again trust wholeheartedly that he did his due diligence and it was going to be valid research. It's not, but again, it's not like anything would have ever like happened like that. And that instead of proving that the Earth was flat, instead you just um, died in a very sort of ironic, like brutally ironic way, like another like in such an ironic fashion that again it's like we must be living in a simulation. I know that's another pat thing to say, but like if a person who again this could never happen because it would just be too perfect. I'm not saying it would because the earth is flat obviously, but it does seem unimaginably perfect that a person who spent their life trying to prove the earth was flat died in expending all of their resources in an experiment to prove the exact opposite. Um, you know, the irony is nobody would believe it. That's another dumb, stupid thing we all say, like, oh, Nobody would believe it if it were a movie. Well, it's like, well, at some point we got to recalculate what is believable, because real life continues to trump what we say routinely our most outlandish writers could not produce or wouldn't dare produce. So sometimes we're gonna have to re-gauge expectations of what reality are, or what constitutes it. Um, so back to flat Earth. Oh wow. Okay. A lot of flat Earth fans here, but all right, guys. Now this is one of my favorite hobby horses, and this is a topic that comes out only when I am this high, and I am sorry for doing this to you. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of this 1,000 milligram tincture, nowhere near all of it, but I will do a little bit of it because we've been going on so long, and my throat needs a break. I don't want to put any more stuff in it that will burn it too much. I finished this bong, but I will do some more tincture. That will help. So, guys, welcome. I can see we've got a lot of, a lot of people with unconventional beliefs about the nature of reality in chat, which I love, love all that. But, and from a person who also has unconventional beliefs in the nature of reality. Now, I'm so sorry to anybody who's ever had to do this before, or God forbid, anybody out there who might actually know me. I'm sorry, because I know this is all I ever talk about, but forgive me. I have no other choice. I once read this story from Ted Chiang, the on stream, my favorite 3 pages in fiction about this particular topic. But so I am a determinist at heart, but a determinist with an asterisk, in that I don't actually believe that the world is deterministic in that it is knowable, but it is deterministic in that it is random but unknowable. But there is no control. You have no outcome in the nature of that randomness. Just means that, if you, the nature of reality is the nature of every single particle in the universe is neither, as we all know, it's neither a wave nor a particle. It's really just a wave form. It is one thing when it is measured one way and not another thing when it is measured another way. There is no distinction between the two. And it exists in what is a probability matrix, in that if you measure it one time, it might show up here. If you measure it a second time, the exact same time and in the exact same way, with the exact same, precisely exact same scenario, it will show up in a different place. But it will show up in a bunch of different places, but according to an exact probability matrix. Like, it will show up in this particular range of spots X, like 20% of the time, or it'll show up in this percentage of the spot 50% of the time, so on and so forth, up to 100%. And that is true for every single particle / wave in the universe. And that is also true, as far as we know, for macroscopic objects like ourselves. Point I'm trying to make is that you never know ahead of time where that waveform will collapse. It could be anywhere in this probability matrix. You can have a guess based upon very rock solid estimates. But anyways, that doesn't matter. You don't know necessarily where any particular particle will collapse, but you have an idea of where it'll happen. The only point is that there is no choice. Like, it's just going to go, every thing is going to go one way or the other. There is no decision. Outside of that, everything is pretty, Newtonian at macroscopic scales. You and I, all of consciousness is an illusion. We are just billiard balls of particles from the inception of the universe colliding around. and those collisions just happen to emerge this epiphenomenon of something that we perceive as consciousness, but is really just kind of an illusion that helps this conglomerate of particles achieve its quote unquote goal. And goals can be nothing more than emergent concepts themselves, as we can demonstrate in laboratories and certain experiments, that like systems can arise that create goals for themselves even without any kind of goal-oriented behavior to start with. Doesn't matter, so on and so forth. Point being, we live in a completely deterministic universe, caveated, randomly deterministic, which I know is a oxymoron, but you have no choice. There is no such thing as choice. Consciousness is an illusion, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Very banal, duh, come on. Quit smoking all that weed, kid. Get out of philosophy 101. Who the fuck do you think you are? You little solipsistic piece of shit. But let's go my one extraction further. This is not my theory at all, but let's really get to the nature of the universe. And that is, let's go one of, let's take out a whole layer that we don't need to have, which is the whole universe existing, everything that we think of as real and existing in physical space. Let's just remove all of that. Let's just jettison all of that. Like, why do we need all of that? Instead, we can just imagine the world as, or the universe, whatever, as just a big blank void with particles as they do that pop in and out of existence, which is what happens in real life. And good old quantum foam, just particles go in, out all the time. And sometimes, randomly, that big empty space will put together a particular arrangement of particles that pop into existence that happen to have all the memories, thoughts, experiences that I perceive in this one exact moment that I am in, experiencing right now. Flashes, everything I think in that moment is there, and I've popped out of existence and I'm gone and dead again. So everything up until this moment that I have perceived didn't actually happen, but it's just happening right now. And that everything that is in my brain that I can perceive in this moment is all that exists in a random quantum fluctuation. And again, I'm gone, I'm done. But of course, didn't happen yet. It's happened right now. And everything before this, up until this moment, is the only thing that's ever happened. And everything that will happen again is gone, because the second it pops in, it pops out. And all those flashes, those random, because every memory, every perception, everything that you think of as you is really just a random arrangement of a soup of particles in a largely permeable skin container, but permeable on scales that we can't perceive. I mean, not just permeable, it doesn't even exist. Like, this idea that there's like flesh here is a total illusion. I mean, our bodies are empty space. 99.999% of an atom is empty space. We're just like electron husks. So all of that doesn't exist. The only thing that ever exists is the moment that exists, everything that I can perceive in that moment, which isn't everything, right? It's not everything. It's only what is in my mind at that moment, which right now would be talking to you guys on YouTube, the things that are sort of in my vision. I don't have to know everything else. It's only those things I would perceive in the moment. The concept is called a Boltzmann brain. I love it, named for Ludwig Boltzmann, the founder of statistical mechanics. The sort of underlying rules of the universe, I guess, are kind of writ in statistical mechanics. And once the idea of a Boltzmann brain was introduced to me, I have never, ever, ever, ever been able to shake it, like as like a weirdness in the back of my head of like, well, how do you reduce that away? How do you say that isn't actually gonna be the case? Like, it is much, much, much more statistically likely that I am a quantum fluctuation of consciousness, perceptions of consciousness, than the amount of coincidence and things that would have to get me down to this moment. So I think the biggest argument against Boltzmann brain is like the ontological one, which is like, well, it would be much less likely for a Boltzmann brain in the time that it flashes into existence to both perceive itself as that and perceive it's of the rules of which it could be created in that infinitely small amount of time in which it exists, which I do I see as like a curiosity, but I still think it would be more likely. And of course, it doesn't have to accurately perceive itself. I'm not saying that that is exactly what the fluctuation would be. Anyways, doesn't matter. That is my conspiracy theory for you guys is that the ultimate solipsism, the solipsism, the Super Saiyan solipsistic point of view, you can't get any more solipsistic than I'm not a brain in a vat. God, I wish I were more as I existed as in such a quantifiable and real way as an physical thing like a brain in a vat. Not even that. Just some sodium and like iodine and some carbon molecules that fluctuated into existence in a particular configuration as these things happen to do, and then popped back out, and that's it. So it's easier than the the Earth can be flat in that scenario. The Earth can be anything you want it to be. Sorry, that was a long digression. I kind of felt like we would go down that way, but holy hell. Um. Anyways, where were we? Well, Harry, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. Says it's been at least 3 years since I've checked in. Long time, brother. Just want to say hello and thank you for being the dude. You're amazing. That is so very kind of you to say, man. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the kind words, my friend. Hope you are doing well as well. Sorry for coming in at that tail end of that crazy rant, and one that you may have even heard 3 years ago. Because much like the Earth, time is a flat circle, apparently. Um, did I? Is if anybody is still listening, I apologize. That was really indulgent. It was insanely indulgent of me. Um, and wow, uh, done a number on the old voice. Joe Dub, welcome back, Joe Dub. We are beyond the pale here, I'm afraid. More high than a man should ever be. I may take a short break, rest my throat, get some things ready. I wish I had a background image that I had ready. I had one at one point because I don't want to log off, but let me think here for just a moment. It's a very complicated process right now. Put that up. Oh, I promised to finish this bong, which I did not do. If I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna need to do two things. I think one, take a break for a moment just to get some stuff cleared, clear my head a little bit, and then two, do something that doesn't require nearly as much talking. My voice is almost completely gone, so I might have to like see if I can switch to a game or something. Hello, Space Bake says it's the boy Wheats. Yes, it is me. Happy 420 to you. Thank you for joining us at hour 2.5, my friend Space Bake. Oh, I was also going to try to do some tincture, but that seems really inappropriate at this point, like, and totally unnecessary. I mean, it is 420, but oof. Do I have what it takes to switch over to the Nintendo Switch as something to do and give my voice? I've scorched it with so many of these things, and also I could just it would be a good excuse to stop ranting, which I feel like I've really browbeat a lot of people, which never is my intention, but always ends up being a revealed preference, which gross shame on me. Well, come on, little capsule. Almost there. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. That is almost done. Harry says, any new edibles that have become your go-to lately? Great question, Harry. Not actually, to be honest. If I do edibles, I haven't actually done. I haven't been doing reviews recently. The reviews I have out are older. But I've been doing mostly flour, and when I do edibles, uh, which I don't do unoften, I do probably 3 or 4 times a week at this point. But I do a lot of tincture and capsules, just because it is very price efficient to do a lot of high THC capsules, or it's just cheaper than buying a bunch of smaller things and or smaller edibles. And I just don't need to eat as many not great tasting gummies at this point. So I've been doing a lot of like Papa and Barkley's tincture and Buddy's capsules and things when I'm doing quote unquote edibles. I did, however, you just missed, Harry. Well, not just 2 hours ago, did a agua de flor beverage, 100 milligrams of THC lemonade cucumber drink. That was pretty good. But in terms of like edibles, I go to nothing consistent. And when I do edibles, generally doing them for review. So whatever one is up next. Anyways, Space Bake says Kiva is awesome. Space Bake is correct. Kiva is amazing. Kiva's been amazing since I moved to California. It was the first edible I think I ordered from some online dispensary. And wonderful. They're still wonderful. Gummies, chocolate gummies, that order. But great stuff. They're a premium kind of, they're a little bit more expensive, but if that is within your budget, they are worth the price, I think. Okay. The old Yankee says the live resin gummies from Kiva are delicious. Well, thanks for joining us, the old Yankee, and I have not tried them yet. They're going to be probably the first edible review I do whenever I start doing reviews again in the near future. So I'm looking forward to them. I've heard a lot of people telling me that they love them, so I am looking forward to it. What was I going to try to do? I was going to try to do something. Grab my Switch to see if I could manage the impossible task of switching something. Oh, Space Bait can get a Kiva bar for $15. That is a hell of a deal, my friend. Even in the area I'm in, which is pretty cheap compared to a lot of places, Kiva, I think, usually runs like 22 something around there, which is I don't know, 20% more probably than their other chocolate bars they have. But at $15, I would buy them every time for sure. So I am a little jealous, my friend. Joe Dub, clever. I see what you did there. GIF, Joe Dub, and you will be rewarded for your clever use of something. I like what you did there, and that was smart. And I will do some. So this is 1,000 milligram tincture, which is way, way, way a lot. Not going to do a whole lot of this at all. I'm still on that 100 milligram, but we'll do let's see. So this was how many? I'm going to guess this is 15 milliliters. I aim to do a tenth of this bottle in total by the end of this stream, which is going to be 100 or 15 milliliters in total. So I believe 1.5 droppers full is my total goal. It is at 50 milliliters there. This one, if I remember correctly, is pretty gross. Oh, clever, thank you. Mm-hmm. Then good score. I'm talking a lot. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on. Hey, yeah, I have. Good review. Somebody give me a link, maybe. A review. I review in color high. Pretty good. It's really bad. It's really bad. Oh. Oh, that's good. Ooh. Ooh. So that was 50 milligrams roughly of THC I just did right then. That is extremely bitter. Wow. Ooh. Yeah. Whew. Sorry about that. There we go. Um, there is no way I think I can put my Switch successfully on that dock behind me. Uh, just as a matter of shop to talk. I have like two monitors in front of me. One's an ultra wide, which is what I've been streaming when I play my Switch. It does this thing where you can split it. So half is my PC, half is my Switch, half is like an HDMI, half is DisplayPort. And unfortunately, it requires like messing with the monitor's awful little manufacturer settings to switch that setting on in order to play it. And that is just not in the cards. Uh, Even if I were in a more of a shape to do such a thing, there is a huge table with a lot of glass right here as a physical barrier. Um, so, I you've been spared from Monster Hunter. Thank you. Space Bake says wheat's one of the best weed tubers today. Well, thanks, man. Space Bake, I'm I have never I'm 100% curious. I just don't know. What are the big weed tubers? Like what are the who do people watch that make weed stuff on or are famous for doing weed stuff on YouTube other than say good old like, Doug Benson. I have no idea. I don't engage with YouTube. I don't engage with Wheats as anything other than me uploading stuff and occasionally like reviews of things and occasionally live streaming stupid bullshit like this. But I don't like really post on Twitter. I don't like email people. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just so divorced. I don't think I've ever watched outside of some of people who are very nice and cool and hang out here who have weed YouTube channels. I've watched some of their stuff and like it quite a bit, but I don't actually know like what are the big weed channels or kind of what people even watch. I'm just um I'm not a very I don't know collaborative, I guess, in that way, or involved in the culture even. I don't know. Anyways, oh, Yeti King with some of his favorites: Eric Kahn, Sebi G, Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man. What a name! Third High Production from Spaced Bake, and King Yeti or Yeti King also with the Southern Dabber. Ooh. Uh, Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man, is such a wonderful, fun thing to say that I really just want to call myself um, his protege, just so I can say I want to do anything I can to get on Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man's radar, so I have more excuses to say his name. So Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man, if you're out there, um, let's talk. Because I can say Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man all day, and I will somehow never get tired of it. Jimmy Jam, the Dab Man. Anyways, Joe Deb says, wow, you guys were effing ready for that question. Yes, they were, and I appreciate it. I actually, if it weren't both too distracting for me to pull off this level of multitasking and also just not rude as hell, I would just like start Googling them right now or looking them up because I'm so curious, but I do not have that ability, so I won't even put us through it. Jimmy Jab the Dab Man. Well, how am I'm never going to forget that name. Uh, anyways, let's talk about something fun, different, cool, and interesting. Braxton Mercho. Braxton, what's up, my friend? So good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. I also realized if I really felt the need to do something, I could play something on my fancy PC that I have in front of me that is set up exactly for this purpose. But then that would require me putting in not just hitting a button after hitting all those other buttons. It would require more than that. Very well put, me. Very well put. Really explained the issues there to everybody, I think, in a satisfactory way. Braxton, glad you're here. Happy 420 to you. Oh, we are almost to 420 my time. The only time that matters. PST is my ST. And I'm not sure what that means, but it's almost we're 20 minutes away from the 420th of 420s, the 420 of the Ganja Coast. We are the green wave, baby, coming for you, America. You can't stop this green wave. Chugga, 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 chugga. Chiba. There we go. Yes. Some alliteration. 13, welcome in. Glad to see you again. Happy 420. And almost happy 420 again. Yeti King says, damn, PTSD sucks. Well, that is very true. I'm sorry that you, are you a person who experiences PTSD, Yeti King? If that isn't too personal of a question. I think you might have shared this before. But, ugh. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy Braxton. That sounds good, man. The only things, wow, it is an issue that people feel very compelled to to or have their voice heard. I'm always so fascinated by what topics get elevated to national conversation and why, and what makes them so compulsive to talk about. I mean, I know it's a snowball thing at some point. It's just the fascination begats fascination at some point, but what, like, these things that become cultural flashpoints every now and then, and like just captures the zeitgeist. Oh, my stream just like restarted itself, it looks like. Whoops. Um Sorry, I think if my stream ended, I think it's back and up now. Let me double check. I'm hardly the best judge of what is happening, but let's reload. I know my OBS, which doesn't mean anything to anybody there, was like, what the fuck, dude? But now it seems like, nah, you good now, bro. So I think I'm now good, bro. Cool. Sorry about that issue. Alt Orf. Well, I am sorry, Alt Orf. I'm being told that I once shilled for Beto in my weed videos. I don't remember doing that. I'm not sure what the context would have been. I'm not. You're absolutely right to call me out as a hypocrite on one. If that is true, to comment on, I am absolutely not. I mean, just by talking about this phenomenon, I am by definitionally guilty of talking about that thing that's brought it on. So I was a hypocrite even before that, but I still appreciate you bringing that up. That is a good point. Valid, if that is true. And I don't know what we were talking about, something about why things become cultural flashpoints, why things enter the oh god, what's the word we all used? Zeitgeist. Yes, like how those things happen and why it becomes a thing where like, and oh please, Oltorf, I am sorry, 520. I did not mean to. I'm not in any way. I am sorry if you. I'm sorry if that was insulting. That was not my intent. I apologize for my flippant wording there. I am just as guilty of it, but I just don't know why those topics become the topics that they do. I do not begrudge anybody for talking about those things once they become that way, because there is a compulsion for everyone. I just never understand why one thing and not another. Why this case of an unarmed African American man dying at the hands of the police captured this level of cultural bandwidth, and not some of the other, like, I just don't. I mean, the images in this one are pretty goddamn stark. That is a factor, but it isn't the first time. It isn't the only time since. It unfortunately very likely won't be the last. But why this one, and why so much focus and attention from every direction onto it? I mean, it's a statistical thing. It is. It's got to be a snowball thing. It's got to be the attention begats attention begats attention. But that's thing better left for Ludwig Boltzmann than for me. Anyways, let me try to change topics a little bit. Jack Force says current level of highness, moon and back. Braxton says Ultor is salty. Yes, but this is not this is something that we're all going to have to come to grips with, unfortunately, and that is that Ultor does not believe or interpret his actions as saltiness, but rather the actions of a person who is pushing. It's kind of like the opposite. It's um, and it's because the culture he was acculturated in conditions people to both believe that to be true, which it is to them, and also rewards people for um, perpetuating those things, uh, and especially an attitude of proactive victimization, I guess. I'm trying not to be. I'm sorry if these words come across as judgmental. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be analytical. And Old Tor is very much acting what he believes to be very genuinely trying to confront uh, dogmatic. He's doing something noble to him, which is totally. I mean, like, that is why it's can be so dangerous that if you can pervert things that are seem to be uh, this is just too much topic. This is too. I mean, this is gonna blow up in my face. Let's just stop talking about this and talk about something more fun, like what video games we've been playing. Oh my god, video games, love them. Um, Space Bakes asked a great question. When are we getting more reviews, Wheats? That's a great question. You'll have reviews for the next week and a half at least, or I think next 2 weeks, I hope. After that, I've got to get on. I've shot a couple recently, haven't edited them. I don't really edit anything, but, combine the footage. So I would like it to continue unabated, two reviews a week, but I can't promise it. That was a really sad answer to that question, and I'm sorry. Yeti King says, why is it mainly girls? Why is it one girl in a group of 10 will come out as trans and 3 to 4? I don't know, Yeti King, and I don't know how accurate that um, statistic is, but 10 minutes till 4:20. Space Bake keeping us on track. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're right, Braxton, that it is absolutely a product of timing as well, in addition to the images being so unimpeachable, I guess. But that it was, and it was in a series of escalating incidences before it. And one of the things that I never know how to be 100% comfortable with is like, which is like, where, and I don't mean this in any way as a criticism of, please do not interpret it as a criticism of people being very wanting to protest or not to, oh god, I'm stopping. I'm just not going to talk about this right now. Not in the right state of mind. And it's a topic where you want to come with a very clear head, which is not mine. So instead, I'm going to talk about video games. That's what I said. Good question, Joe Depp. And the answer is good, hopefully better as the weather even turns nicer. And I appreciate that question. That tincture is coming on. My Great Dane is having a nightmare on the couch right now, or some kind of dream that involves yipping and breathing heavily. Um, okay, video games. I was gonna try to make some. Ah, what have I been doing? Video games. Video games. Yes. Uh, we'll go kind of video game points. I know a topic that can make us all happy, and everybody can agree on, and that is, boy, Facebook sucks. Man, Facebook is a real piece of shit company. Uh, the way I'll be an asshole about it is, man, Facebook. I hate Facebook so much. It it hurts me how good the Oculus Quest 2 is. Um, it it pains me how fucking great that piece of tech is, and it's sickening that Facebook continues to over deliver on pretty big promises that they made in pretty profound ways, and that it I love I hate the fact that the Oculus Quest 2 is maybe the best, most satisfying tech product since, man, it's so good. It's so much better than the original Quest 1. And they came in 100. It's like an iPhone to an iPhone 4 level of upgrade, but that they made cheaper. And then continue to throw out little pieces of they continue to improve it in ways that they never even suggested that it had the capability of doing. Like, for example, they just now incorporated a system level, operating system level wireless PC VR feature within the headset. Don't require the cable anymore if you want to play PC VR. Um, used to have a very specific USB-C cable to make it happen. If you want to play like Half-Life Alyx with your Quest, now they have a native solution in the headset where you can do it wirelessly if you got the network to handle it. It's amazing. They now have a 120 frames per second mode in the headset. When it launched, it started with 72, with the promise that it would get 90 hertz at some point. Well, they just surprised everybody and like, oh, now it's 120. Good luck. And I've been playing so much VR stuff. I've played so much No Man's Sky in VR, which is the only way I've played it. I was so glad I did not play it when it came out, when it was such an anemic experience. It's been delightful to experience in VR. It's almost 420. Holy shit. I got to get something ready for our 420 moment of celebration here. Let's do a dab together. That sounds right. No Man's Sky in VR. It is a less than perfect VR conversion. Like, it's clumsy, but it works, and it is a pretty special experience. I just get immense amounts of satisfaction. If you've ever played No Man's Sky, there is this ability you get very early where you can deform terrain, mine something with a gun, and it just like dissolves the ground beneath you. And it is so fun just to build big giant tunnels into random planets in No Man's Sky in VR and just dig straight into the ground and bore around like a little mole rat. It's awesome. And then going from planet to atmosphere to space station, all in the headset. They've got like the cockpits modeled in VR. It's a wonderful experience. And if you've never played No Man's Sky, it can be found for a song. And I mean, it's one of these games that, it's a embarrassment of riches, analysis paralysis, too many choices. Like, if No Man's Sky existed 20 years ago, it could be a thing that you could. It could be the thing that you be the only thing that you play, and you could have hundreds of hours. I mean, like, and just to realize it's just one of a um, myriad of games of its ilk and scope. Well, nothing quite of its scope, but you get really cool in VR. Just watched, haven't watched King Kong versus Godzilla, but watched Godzilla War of the Monsters, a 3D version in VR. Not a VR version of it, but one of my favorite things to do is take some nice THC tincture and put on a headset and go into like the space station theme and watch a movie on a gigantic fucking screen in VR in 3D, which you can do. We did that this weekend and rewatched Godzilla War of the Monsters, which is a movie I remembered having more fond feelings for than critics. And it was purely a function of I had forgotten the first hour of the movie, which I mean, I remember that the people were terrible, that they were awful, that all the human characters were terrible. But I was like, there was so much monster. Like the people were in it for that long, but they're worse than I remember. They're in it for more than I remember. I wanted nothing more than just to not have to look at Kyle Chandler's stupid fucking face again. But the parts that I did remember fondly, which were how insanely cool, and cool is the only best word I have to describe it. It just, uh, the monsters look fucking cool as hell, and they love to give them dynamic thunderstorms or like hellfire, volcano eruptions all around them. It's just a dramatic looking movie. And monster fights look pretty dope in a giant VR screen in 3D. Um, so I did that as well. And then, Phil. Hello, Phil. Welcome. It says, why eat fatty foods when smoking or eating edibles? Well, for edibles, it doesn't really matter for smoking. I at least never heard any reason it would. There is a somewhat of a reason. Usually, the infusion process handles it, but you need fatty foods for the like THC to bind to blah 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 chemistry reasons. But if you're baking with anything like butter, that has usually enough fat in it to handle it. Um, and gummies and stuff at the that you buy will usually through the process have it infused. You won't need to have additional fat, but I don't know. The smoking is very ritualistic, and I will usually do it when eating gummies just in case, even though it largely probably doesn't matter too much, but can because our brains are weird. Happy 420. That's what I missed. That's why I did that dab. Happy 420. Woo, we did it. Auld Lang Syne. What do you do for 420? Oh, Bob Marley. Somebody do one of those Bob Marley things, songs that I just recognize but don't really know that well, actually. Carson, what's up, man? We are doing well. My voice is at its vital bits of uh, forgiveness. But I wanted to definitely get through our last 420 and hang out with everyone for a little while before we sign out. It has been a blast. Holy shit, I am blasted. Yeti King says, why can't you ask why the U.S. government gives so much money to Israel? What's up with that? Um, well, I mean, I understand why they do it. It's I don't think anybody really I don't think it's a secret why we give a bunch of money to Israel. The question is not why, but if rather if should, and does it benefit anyone other than the Israelis? Those are, those are pertinent questions. But if there's one conversation that's more of a conversational landmine than what we were just talking about, it's that one. It's such a conversational landmine that it's a trope in and of itself. Just the very notion of talking about it. Carson says it's been a blast. About to go do a dab out of my UCAN quad coil. Cool, Carson. I hope you enjoy it, man. I think I have the UCAN quad coil. I've had it for a while. I have not used it in probably year and a half. It's the big fat one, maybe big fatty, big one. Very good description from me. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about using that particular combination of words. So VR. What else have I been playing? Oh shit! Do not recommend playing Warhammer Battle Sisters, Angel Warriors. I had like a coupon on, Oculus just gave me a discount and they're like, here, go get something. And I was like, yay, I will definitely be manipulated with a coupon code. This is my own decision and I'm the one making this choice and I'm the one pulling something over on you, I thought to myself, and laughed all the way to the bank and made the foolish decision to pick up the Warhammer game that was one of the Quest 2's, like, I don't know, launch window titles that they advertised it with. It did not launch to great reviews. It launched okay reviews, but it's real bad. It's not good at all. Warhammer is a thing that I'm ashamed. I find myself genuinely ashamed how much I think it's goofy. Like every time I see something about Warhammer, some dumb link on the internet about you won't believe this dumb shit in Warhammer, or hey, this is the stupidest shit ever. You won't believe this stupid shit in Warhammer. I'm like, I will believe it, and I really kind of want to know because I find the whole aesthetic, the grim, dark thing. Somebody described it to me once is so perfectly as more is more, which just seems so right. And I don't know a lot about it. I've never played the tabletop game. I've never played really any miniatures game, like with a campaign thing, especially not Warhammer, not 40K. But I like reading this stupid shit. I've never read a book. I've never done any of that. I've never, but anytime there's somehow like a Wikipedia article linked to something in Warhammer, I'm like, I kind of want to read that. And then I've played like the Space Marine Warhammer game from like the late aughts. That was pretty fun. And I just find that ridiculously over the top metal aesthetic, grimdark thing, for some reason bizarrely compelling, and I just like laughing at it. And so I picked up the Warhammer VR game, and it's not very good. There's not a whole lot of really cool ultra violent stuff. Yeah, I mean, is Warhammer's 40K is just like, is the appeal the same as the appeal of Saw? I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of Saw movies, ashamedly, too, so maybe. Not denigrating it, because I, again, paid some money for a VR version that's not very good. Warhammer 40K Battle Angel Sisters on Oculus Quest. Meh. Don't download it. Get something else. There you go. Boy, these my name is on so many on 420. I've gotten probably 10 random text messages from different shitty dispensaries offering different promos. I have no idea, how your phone number, well, how it spreads, but it is a spreading thing. The more lists your spam list your phone number gets on, the more lists it's likely to get on, which is just a really shitty process, unfortunately. Carson says, you got any suggestions for wax burners? I have a Puffco Peak. That's probably not really what you're looking for. That I don't have out right now, that I didn't want to mess with before this, because I had this. This was going to be the more compelling thing I thought to look at, and it's above me, and definitely can't happen now, because I would break it for sure. And I would recommend it with an asterisk, so I'm not even sure I would recommend it that way, even if it's probably not the kind of thing you're looking for. Yeti King gives the suggestion of the Ooze pen. It's a dual coil, but it takes forever to heat up. Well, maybe not so much a suggestion as just a matter of fact. Oh, well, Carson, it seems, recommends the quad UCAN oil over the Ooze pen anyways. So who knows? Two enter, one leave. Very Godzilla versus King Kong right here, right now. Oh boy. Okay. This, I know we're just 10 minutes after 420, but I have hit it. I'm at the wall. I hit the 20-mile wall that marathoners talk about. Like, just cannot get any higher at this point. I didn't even finish the tincture. Largely, I just need a break, need to refuel, need to relax my voice, need to just lie down and think about the nature of reality for a while. There is a small chance I will be back later this evening, if I can convince myself. I would not guarantee it, but I am going to take a break for now. I'm going to say likely goodbye, possibly see ya in a little bit. It has been so fun hanging out with everybody on 420. Sorry to bow out just at the 3.5 hour mark or so, however long we are into this stream. 3 hours and 10 minutes. That's a long stream. I just realized it's just now 420 on the West Coast, but you know what? It's 420 everywhere at some 20, so maybe I'll come back for another 20. I should stop putting that idea out into people's minds, because I don't want people expecting that. Maybe I should just shut up and say, happy 420, everybody. It's been wonderful hanging out. My voice is gone for now, but let's put it on ice and have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay high, stay healthy. Naomi, Denise.